I need to get like a whiteboard, some kind of message board system set up. What a Tuesday it's looking to be. Always been one of my more favorite objects. I like crystal ball work. It's a little bit different than most of the other methods and practices that you'll see people working with out there. Because everything else, you've got some level of representation that usually plays with it. A symbol or an object, or like even with tea leaves, you've at least got shape of loose leaf tea in the bottom of a cup that you can stare at. But crystal ball, it's literally just staring into your own reflection. I had one gal at the Russian tea room once say to me, she tries to look around the sides to look at the people's palms. She's a better palm reader than she is a crystal ball reader, and that was her way of figuring out a way around it. With all readers, it really does just come down to, from their experiences and their understandings, they have an understanding of how people generally are going to be. And whether you want to turn that into a magical intuitive gift, or whether you want to call it something divine and special, it all just comes back to they can simply read people. Once you can read people, you can compare it to almost any other kind of pattern, any other kind of flow. It becomes just another language that you can speak and share with the world around you. So, mucking around for the next hour or two, because I got to go do some work at a friend's house. I ultimately signed up for the live studio without realizing that my lovely little Chromebook is Google OS. And wouldn't you know that Google OS isn't Windows 10? And so I can't download TikTok's program to do up anything more special just yet. But my friend's got a fancy dancy computer she's going to let me borrow, so I'm going to have some fun with that this afternoon. So this is all just me sitting here having a good time this morning, making sure I get my minutes in, and potentially looking at a new deck that I got delivered yesterday. It is 16 days now until I vanish off to go hide away in the woods, and cannot wait to be away. I used to try and make sure I'd get up to home turf in the Yukon at least once a year. Just sort of a recharge, a dip back into the natural world, wild places that are completely untamed, versus the rest of Canada, which is only kind of tamed. And, well, if you live anywhere besides Toronto, you probably know what I mean. Natural wilds of Canada are something else. And the more you can get yourself out and about into it to see what really it's all about, the more you get a sense that Canada is really, really empty. It's not a bad thing either. When you've got space to breathe, when you've got space to just float in the moments and not be caught up in the nonsense, because there isn't blaring sirens or honking horns or anything going on around you, besides just you and your heartbeat and the things that make you feel a moment of serenity. There you are. You. It's in the wilds that you can hear your own heart talking to you the easiest. And if you haven't found your way of getting into the wilds, I advise you look into something. Oh, that's all dead brush. I'll be right back. I gotta go see if I've got some sage in my altar space. Easy. Bingo. I am in the midst of getting ready to move again. It's funny saying move again when it's been like 3 years since my last big move, but when you did it 20 or 30 times in the span of a very short decade, you start to feel like you're always on the move. And I don't think I ever actually finished unpacking when I got into this place. Let a lot of my supplies run out, and so I'm out of I'm out of sage, which happens periodically. So we're going to use some substitutes. Hi, Siobhan. I'm not reading this deck until I've actually cleansed it. I just got them delivered yesterday. Partner likes to shop on Temu. And she'd been watching decks and things like that for a while now. And with it had been thinking, is this legit? Is this worth the time? Is this something that he'll use? And finally told her just to order one. Let's see what it's all about. We'll go with it from there. And they arrived yesterday. I opened it up because, like I'd ever think to do an unboxing video where I take the plastic off the box too, Can't keep it legit. Gotta make it look like it's a muck-up. But when I opened it, the first card that jumps up is the Wheel of Fortune. And I'm sitting there in my usual way going, well, that's not the last of any of the suits, nor is it the first or last of the major arcana. It's sort of smack dab in the middle, in fact, in a really mean, really bad way. And so I didn't 100% trust it right out of the gate, right? When something is pre-randomized like that, it's been given to you with a sense of personality, a sense of character already added to it. And on the one hand, that makes it more a gift, which legitimizes the trading of the tarot over to another person. You're supposed to be gifted tarot decks. You're not supposed to buy tarot decks. It's just one of those nuanced things. And so if it's already randomized, that means somebody has handled it, has given it a sense of purpose, intention, and everything else. And now, yes, it is something that could be gifted out as a means of offering in proper respects to the spirit behind it. But then I'm getting a deck that has that intention already set. I can't do what I want with it. It's a wonderful thing because it means I can't get rid of this deck now. It's an annoying thing because it means I can't get rid of this deck now. And these are just some of the simple traditions. Everybody picks up a few of their own over the years. And once you kind of got your traditions figured, once you know what it is that you're doing, you don't stray from it. A lot of readers don't like to read reversal cards, and I strongly say if that's what you set yourself up for in the first place, if that's how you start, stick with that. Don't change your methodology unless you can really justify it. Because core to reading tarot and any form of divination is the recognizing of patterns and flows that exist in front of you. You take the time to recognize the patterns and flows in your own life. You take the time to recognize how you yourself are marching down like a marble in a groove. And you're just going to roll that way naturally because it's year-round, it's grooved. This is where you flow. This is where you have that beautiful ability to just meander your way through existence. You recognize yourself, you recognize what's good for you, you develop that sense of discernment to realize what isn't for you is elsewhere and on its own way, and you live a balanced life through it. If you're reckless or seeking something other than the groove that you're in, you can realize where those other grooves might be at. Get a sense of their movements, get a sense of their direction, and you can move yourself from your groove to others. But this requires the commitment to change. It requires the real resolve to see yourself become something else. Not all males that are born want to ever be men. Being a man sucks. Being a boy is a lot of fun. And so I get why there's a lot of men in the world that will forever stay perpetually 16, running amok and doing their things and having their fun because 16 is fun. But if you can be challenged to seek something more, honestly, that's the core tenet of being a man, is a challenging yourself to take something more, to go for something more, to achieve something more than just the fun and games that are provided by other people's accomplishments. It doesn't have to be any change of morals and ethics even. It just has to be a desire for things. And therein lies the difference between being comfortable in your own groove and seeking another groove to exist in. If you want that other way of living, if you want that new habit, if you want that new lifestyle, you'll have to dedicate yourself to it with great excess of power and resolve, great truth of yourself, saying, I deserve this. I know I can achieve this because I deserve this. I am right for it, and I'm going to put myself right into it. I would say that stems from free will, fire energy, that manifestation power, the beautiful formation of your expression into the entire world around you. Your light burning off all the shadows and all the doubts of your character, because your light is your action, your truth, your representation through your very deeds and efforts. We are best known through our own actions. Those actions stem from the fire burning and the light generated by that will. What do you want for your life? And what do you want for your universe? It's at that point that I start to break it down between good men, bad men. Because a bad man's going to want something for their universe that's for them. Having somebody else's pleasures provided is nice enough, but they have their own pleasures and they're going to do what they can to seek them out and take them. The bad man sees the world as his to take for his comfort. But it's short-sighted. At some point, all of us have to face a certain reaper, and in that moment, everything that you have earned for yourself is no longer for you, but for your estate. And sure, you get some power of lineage and legacy by saying where your estate and where your energy is going to go, but at the core of it, in the physical shared reality, once you have departed, everything is just sent out, and it is no longer yours. You are a story, a memory, an echo of your own self. And I don't find a lot of bad men are given a strong echo, because what is there to repeat from such a life? And so I don't endorse the living for your own pursuits and pleasures. And I don't think a good man has even quite gotten to that point in most cases. See, a good man is simply at the first step of recognizing that the world that we're in is shared with everybody else. And in doing so, you gotta kind of respect the space that everybody else is trying to take. You're gonna do what you can to make sure that your space is adequate for your own desires, your own wants, your own needs. But at the core of it, it's more about being a part of the system, part of the world, part of the shared reality, than about a good legacy, a good nature. a good man wants to be a remembered echo. There is a need to be alive, and that's what I think makes him just a little inferior to what we could possibly be. In a lot of Taoist texts, Eastern philosophy, it's out of China, it's a wonderful system. Ask me about the I Ching anytime. I love talking about the I Ching. But out of Taoist texts, they talk sometimes about a superior person, superior power. Funny that we get a Jesus mention, because that would be the Christian equivalent. Someone that just walks appropriately within the divine. And I like to think for guys, for the male side, that's the gentleman. I had a project when I was in my 20s called The Perfect Gentleman, but I'll be honest, in my 20s, I was trying to create the model more than I was trying to represent the model. When you create a group trying to find something, people sometimes assume that you have that already in your grasp. They come looking for an absolute. And I'll be honest, it's not really absolutes I dabble in. So, too soon. Too soon would be my final note on that right now. But I do like the term gentleman. It's unfortunate that that's got a bit of a sordid history on its own right, but maybe it's a term that I can even actually lay claim to and try to take. Maybe that's something I can do. And in that case, the gentleman is the man that's acknowledging that his life is not forever, and his legacy isn't even that important either, but rather the continuation of this opportunity for everybody. They recognize that we each get our own experience. It's not even about the space. The space is shared, and you'll go on to the next people whenever they show up. But the experience that we individually have, that's not something we can rob from one another. Not without great invasion, without great trespass. And so the gentleman's not really living for your space, he's living for your experience and the experience of everybody else that needs to come after us. They're living for the idea that life has to continue no matter what. And they themselves, they matter, and they got to look after themselves, because strength in self provides you strength in what you can change in the world, but it's not just to feed that personal self. The personal self is pretty much already expired. Its experience isn't really going to change all that much. I always comment humans are short-lived species. Beautiful, screaming children racing through life. And regrettably, that race distracts us from just how big the actual course and circuit is. It's not even just a single race, it's a relay. And being able to hand that baton from one person to the next is really key. It's like a damn zipper merge, but nobody's reading ahead to realize that's what's coming up on their side. And nobody on the other side can see the signs warning them, making it so nobody knows to make it a zipper merge. To be able to step far enough back out of yourself, especially as a man in this world, requires you to really do away with the idea that the world should serve you. The gentleman serves the world, not the other way around. Because the world is going to outlast the gentleman. And at the end of the day, the thing that lasts longest tends to be the thing that wins. And I don't even bank on the continents that we're standing on being the last ones around. Trust that the iron core at the center of this planet that does all these beautiful things that create atmospheres and electrical fields, I trust that that's going to be probably the last remnant of whatever it is that this planet Earth gets to be. And if I can devote my existence and if I can devote my life to making sure that that process goes to its absolute fullest, well, then that is a life in service to the divine. It's a life in service to life itself. It's that kind of sacrifice that every religion asks you to make. But unfortunately, every religion puts it in the way of service to their God and their methodology of it. If that's the way that somebody needs to understand it, then so be it. But there is no one correct answer that does not serve the continuation of all life first. And there is no rule or stipulation made by mortal man that is more important than that continuation of life, earth, and the universe. Man forever walking on the earth forever spinning under the heavens endlessly following the Tao, and the Tao moving of its own accord. The Father, Son, Holy Ghost, the Spirit to breathe through, the Son to provide the form, and the Father to bring the thought. A wonderful trinity that's supposed to be behind mortal comprehension. Nirvana. You only know it if you sat in it. These are the things that if you aspire to, the rules and stipulations around them that mortal man has to have simply cease to matter. Be good men, but better, be gentlemen. Almost done the cards. I like doing it better over a small bundle of sage burning away, but a sage incense stick can work in a pinch. The point is ritual. The point is more ritual than anything. And I try to explain that when I do house cleansings for people. I like doing house cleansings. I'll do house cleansings for free. Typically, most people like the idea of something burning because that's what they see. It's what they see in a lot of the popular culture on TV, but it's also very common practice in the indigenous culture here in my province as well too. And so there's more familiarity here, I think, with smudging and burning of cleansing than I think most realize in the other parts of the world. But again, every religion, every faith, every walk, every practice has some form of burning things to cleanse. So it's just whether you can relate to it or not. In such rituals, you're setting that intention that what you've got doesn't get to carry, well, neutralizing cleansing, which is what you'll usually get if you're burning a sage. What you're holding doesn't get to carry its energy forward, but rather removes both the positive and the negative to become a steady state of neutral. Neutral is a wonderful position to get back to if you are clear of intention setting after the fact. If you neutralize a glass jar, if you sterilize a glass jar, it really doesn't matter, because it's still just a jar, a vessel, a container of things. When you put the next liquid into it, that's when it becomes a jar of something, and that something has the influence again. Cleansing's kind of the same way. You're washing off the residue or the remains of whatever energy was there before, and moving on to some other format, some other formation, and some other bit. So yeah, if I'm going to get a new deck, and that new deck's going to exhibit signs of being randomized already, you're dang right I'm going to make sure that vessel gets properly cleaned off. before I give it a shuffle. The nice thing is, though, is I don't have to do a large pattern shuffle. It doesn't have to be anything more than just a nice simple hand one, because I'm not having to randomize the actual order of the cards. My system entirely focuses on random order and random chaos. The random nonsense brings us what we need to see, and so trust the random nonsense. I've only just gotten the cards scrubbed. I see there were a lot of message requests, but I sure as heck wasn't going to break code and break order while I was doing a cleanse. Jackal, if you're still in here, if you're talking private reading, then shoot me a message. We'll set something up. If you're talking a card today, I haven't even decided if I was going to read cards yet today. I got to do training later on, and doing it later, training, and then doing reading now, that's a hefty double duty. Hefty double duty. Love that you guys think I'm that good. I appreciate your votes of confidence. Hi, Jackal. Good to see you. My favorite reader's name was Jackie. Interesting gal. And call her Morgana. I do private readings, and so if you want to reach out for something like that, then we can do that. Otherwise, let me center up a little bit here, and then I could probably draw a few cards. I just don't want to inspire an excessive amount of chaos just yet. Thursdays, though. Every Thursday I always draw a free card and do a live show there. And I know it does get a little hectic, and card times can waver anywhere between 2 minutes and 5 minutes, but at the core of it, I also don't like the idea of people getting addicted to cards for direction and idea. Cards are inspiration. They're a reminder that there are different methods, different ways, different options. And so when people get fixated on answers and solutions, well, that's when you start running into a dangerous position. Tool's exactly right. I used to work at a tea house where I watched a gal charge $300 for 15 minutes of service. People came back the next day and demanded more time, so she charged them $500 for 30 minutes. See these clients usually every week or every 2 weeks, and they're usually dropping a number of dollars like that. And I don't agree with that kind of excess on both sides. Readers can't be charging an exorbitant amount like that, like $10 a minute. That is exorbitant. On the other side of it, clients can't be looking for cards every single day. And especially not the same question every single day. The idea behind the tool is that you're going to use it to grow and change and transform. And so if you get yourself wrapped up into using it every day to pick what you're going to do every day, you instead trap yourself to the tool and make it a devil in control over top of you. There is, in fact, a card that discusses that specifically. It's one of those things that it teaches you if you're using the tool properly. It's like alcohol. Alcohol is an incredible antiseptic in the right concentration. Fantastic for working with making tinctures, ethers, source energy forms, if that's your jam. But we mix it up, dilute it, and put it into drinks, and it becomes something of an inhibition remover. It makes you feel like you can be more casually yourself. It's almost like it's purifying you, removing the obstacles that you've put in your own way to stop you from being yourself. But the damage that it does in that process, the rapid pace with which you get that genuine impression of yourself is usually death to the liver, death to the heart, death to the soul. And sometimes you realize that what's at the core there is actually really angry. Most of us, a lot of us have some level of beast. Some level of beast exists because all of us have access to the path of the warrior. You can't be a warrior without having a beast. The people without beast I've met are maybe, I can count on one hand. There's one in everyone. If that beast is one of your more prominent features, and that rage and that anger is coming out every time that you're drinking heavily, well, guess what? That beast needs to change. But alcohol doesn't inspire you to make that change. It inspires you to just be whatever you are in that moment. It sterilizes you to that moment. I haven't drawn a single card with these guys yet. So, meaning no offense, before anybody goes, I get to go for myself. I never read for myself, to be honest. It's not, I don't advise it. I do not advise reading excessively for yourself. I advise one cards every now and again, but if you're learning tarot so that you can make your own life choices, it's the wrong reason to use it. I very rarely get readings from other people as well too. I'm very protective on my energy form. One, because a lot of the people that have tried to sample into my energy form have just ended up getting hurt for it. And two, information is some degree of power. To read me properly, there's a lot of information you're going to need that you have to ask me for. And if you have to ask me for it, then, well, let's just have a conversation. It doesn't have to be a storytelling story. Let's just have a conversation. Oh, what do we got here? Top card was the Star. Bottom card was the Three of Wands. That's a friendly reading. Star being about the direction, the course, making sure I've got course in sight, and acknowledging that there is a course available, that there is hope, that there is provision, that there is opportunity. The cards are very pretty. Images are a little smaller than a standard Rider-Waite, but they've put in a box at the bottom that has the name, number. They put a golden gloss or shine on it as well too. Makes the cards really, really reflective in some ways. Oh, that's super shiny on there. Like, I can shine the dang camera right back at itself. That's impressive. So you can see a little bit of the shimmer, a little bit of the, oh yeah, it's really good right there. Very pretty cards. I might have been having bad thoughts when I first got them about passing them out at Shambhala this year. I've always wanted to just bring a tarot deck and just hand it out. I do readings at Shambhala, but I think I'd have more fun just handing out a full deck of messages. And it would help me keep it to the point of Shambhala, an experience in the moment to help you move along on the way. Could even shape it out into being a quest line. Little things, little things. Okay, the deck is officiated. So good morning, everybody. I hope you are waking up to a wonderful and beautiful day out there. I'm on for a little bit before a friend wakes up, and I'm going to pop over to their home office and set up TikTok Live Studios on their laptop. I have to do this because I signed up for the program, and they give you 14 days to complete the first steps of the program, which, easy steps. Theoretically, I've already hit all the notches. I just need to do the install and a few other things, and my poor little My poor little Chromebook doesn't run Windows 10. It runs, I just realized I was supposed to be on there. It runs Google OS, Chrome OS, something like that. And so it can't install the TikTok Live Studio program. I didn't even actually realize that TikTok was on the web until the other day. Partner mentioned it, so I fired it up and looked at it. And they've got all kinds of different tools and options and everything on there. And it just kind of goes to show how out of technology I am at this point. Which is a shame, because it used to be all about keeping up with the forums, the new developments, the Napsters, the what's nots. And so early 2000s up to about 2005, I'd say my versatility was right there with it. But 2005 till now, it's all become Greek to me. Which breaks my heart a little bit, because I am quite fond of the machine spirit. It's got an interesting dynamic about it that I have always enjoyed working alongside. And when I look at it now, I look at the phone as being literally the computer right there on my side. Of course, TikTok's going to have an app, a website. You're usually set up on multiple platforms in this day and age. But I use the app. Why would I ever think to go look at the website? I like the layout a little bit better on there, though. It's nicer all around the setup. Hello, Lisa. So wherever you're starting your day at, I hope it's starting well. It is, well, at least here in Mountain Standard Time, North America, Tuesday, June 11th. Moon going void, of course, at about 1:16 our time. Hi, Michelle. Nothing big for other movements here. I think, yeah, Lisa, go ahead if you want to throw a question in. Always like consents. Consent is good. I've got a little bit of time before I have to do anything else, so don't jump. So yeah, let's play some games. Yes or no question. I guess I should have looked at that a little bit more closely, but yeah. My big thing with questions always relates towards understanding the picture behind it. People love their yes and no's when it comes to tarot. And so I get why the desire to keep it kind of simple and direct that way. If your reader only tells you yes or no, it's kind of like Geronimo. Holy man tells him that you'll never die from a bullet, but you might die from old age. So what's he do? He goes and dies of old age. Michelle, you first. Stress a little less. Stress a little less. Queen of Pentacles is usually in the money and in the control, and so I don't think it's necessarily that your job is at risk, but there's definitely things in and around the company that you're not going to like, and changes that aren't going to be appreciated. Tell me, when you think about work, is it joyous, or is it just a duty to make sure that the other aspects of your life are still maintained? When you're working a job just to maintain a certain lifestyle, you're not really usually enjoying the lifestyle, because the job becomes punishment for it. You can retool the perspective to acknowledge that what you're doing is just part of it. You want that lifestyle, you should have that job. That is sort of the natural flow and order, but maybe there's something in the lifestyle that could be removed to make other needs a little bit more easier. Lisa, TMFYV, asking about grade 12. Good luck. Good luck on grade 12. It's always a big one. And this is why I don't like doing yes and no's, because strength card, I know so many readers that would automatically jump on that and say, yes, you're good, go at it. You're the strong one, you're the queen, you're a top bitch. You can do this, you can do this. The core behind the strength card is, though, you got to be true to yourself. You don't succeed by cheating, lying, emotions. It's not about the feelers. It's about you just being straight up honest. Honest, genuine, straightforward, no cover, just the armor of your very soul. When you shoot straight with some people, when you just level with them, it's not about proving it's not about proving a point. It's about stating situation and stating fact. Sometimes, especially authority figures, get lost in their impression of how something ought to be. And if you can keep them dealing not with their perspective, but with the logical fact of the moment, sometimes things get through better. But be your best self, Lisa. Be your most upstanding self. Be in that focus. Be in that, this is who I am genuinely, and let that carry you through. It's not going to take much more than that. Good luck, Lisa. Tris asking about Greg, telling me what he wants from me soon. So you want a timeline? Timeline we can do. How you ask your questions needs to be always considered as well. Because I should honestly just start playing it like the Fae folk. Because I'll read past what's in between your lines to get a sense of what you really want to know. And what you really want to know is what he wants. But you're making it about attracting the energy so he does it sooner, does it on your timeline instead of his timeline. And that's just the thing. He's on his timeline 100%. If it's Greg Harris, I'm going to laugh because he would do this. Some situations only play out when a person chooses to let them play out. Greg likes having that control of the timeline. Greg likes being on his horse, standing in his own posture, standing in his own form. He likes having it his own way. And frankly, Tris, sometimes when a person's not moving, you can't push them. You just gotta wait for them to figure out what's on their back burners. Alternatively, you could dig into what he's got going on in the back burner, and maybe that'll help you make a decision for yourself. But his actions will only come when he feels like he can actually move himself in control. He's not looking to be unrested, undone, or undoed in any way, shape, or form. Good luck. Jovi, do you want to be a Freemason? Are you applying to be a Freemason? Did you get what's the term that they call it? Not registered, not volunteered. Did you get endorsed? Did you get endorsed to be a Freemason? Get the endorsement. If you know any Freemasons, that's where you start. If you don't know any Freemasons, go find them. There's an office just downtown here in Edmonton, just sit on the step long enough, you'll definitely see one there. Andrea asking about a Michael. Ten of Pentacles probably will show up in society, probably show up in day-to-day activities and day-to-day form. Something comes around with it, but you have to be aware and open to the moment. It's like when you walk past somebody in the market and they're moving down another way and you're not quite sure if it's them or not. Take the chance. If it's not the person, you just apologize and say, I'm so sorry, I thought you were somebody else. Everybody's done it, but not everybody's been brave enough to go out and reach out to that person. Brianna, asking about romantic future with you and Anthony. Right there. If a person doesn't reveal their emotions and if a person doesn't reveal their flow, I was just going to say, if a person doesn't reveal their cards, we're keeping the card face down, and the Bob moment of it was just too much for me. Knight of Pentacles. If a person doesn't reveal what exactly they're working with and how they're coming from, then no, it doesn't work, right? Because you don't know what you're working with, you don't know what you're playing with, and you just want the goddamn communication to come. This is one where you've got to make the choice whether you want to sit it out, ride it out, be patient with it. if you've got a foot in water and the water hurts the foot, you don't keep the foot in unless you force it in. Are you looking to force in and maintain yourself in this situation with Anthony? Or is the complication more than what you personally would allow yourself to mix with and mesh with and work with? Confusion sucks. Confusion shouldn't be in relationship matters, though. And if there is confusion, that means there's other variables that aren't being accounted for. Luna, hello. You may always ask a question. If I'm doing card readings, you may always ask a question. Lots of people asked earlier while I was doing the smudging on these cards, and might not have realized that I need to smudge them before I read for them. Otherwise, there's a chance that whatever was put in there before I got them gets transferred along. But yeah, if I'm ever doing Thursdays especially, a live show where I'm reading and divining, absolutely, you may also ask a question. I just need the consent. Shannon asking about her boyfriend. Fight for in the relationship and come back if possible. Do you want him back? Is he worth taking back? Do you want him back? Like, honestly, do you really want him back? The moon. What is it specifically that you want from this guy? What specifically is it that makes him of appeal? Because when we're focusing on, say, the moon, what we're looking at is just a hunk of rock that reflects the sun, the light of the sun. And without the sun, there is no moon. It's just void, ultimately. Which one of you is really the sun in this dynamic? Because I don't think it's him. I think it's you. And if you just want the guy to radiate what you are offering and what you're giving, that's all fair and fine. But is he even capable of reaching that level and reaching that strength? What are the goals of this relationship in the long run? Nat, does Sasha want to reconcile with me? Maybe. Page of Pentacles on the top. I keep peeking at the bottom because I'm a cheeky bastard. Bottom for you is the Empress. Empress entering in on nurturing, caretaking, sort of that dynamic of it's motherhood, but it's not just being a mother. It's being in caretake. It's being in nurturing. It's being in compassion. It's being in, I just want the fields to be better and pretty. I have a very drab existence, I'm told sometimes. All the color is provided to me by somebody else. And I won't disagree with that entirely. I'm not the quickest to decorate my temples, except for my altar room. It's the only one that really matters. And so I leave the rest of it quite drab, yes. And when you recognize the influence of other people on your environment, that's when you start to appreciate people for what they contribute, not in direct action, but in presence. It's the presence, I think, that Sasha wants to reconcile with. And that doesn't mean that necessarily the problem underneath it all is gone, but it at least shows that a person's willing to work with you while growing to understand. And that's usually a good sign of true bond friendship or love. Not in a romantic sense love, but love in what you would want to see between two people that just want to support, help, and encourage one another. So eventually that becomes reconciliation. Right now it comes off more like, I just want to make it better. Good luck, Nat. Yippee wants to be described by the cards. What card is going to describe Yippee? See, that's a little bit more fun. I like that kind of question. Knight of Cups is what comes up for you. Yippee, yippee. This is usually an individual that's a little bit more guarded with their emotions, cautious and careful, but there's a deep reservoir of love and emotion to give out. Consciously looking for the connections, looking for the right connections, though. Looking for the feelings and the sensations and the positivities. Communicating emotionally, but prone to sometimes fits of deep emotion, and how those may come out may change. Even the bottom's coming up, Ace of Cups in this dynamic. So deep on the emotions, deep on the feelings, and deep on the capacity of them. The wonderful thing about deep emotions is they allow an individual a means of connection with anything, anyone, anywhere. The downside to deep emotions is that's a lot of pressure to be in sometimes, and that pressure could be a little bit devastating if we allow it to overwhelm us. Good luck. Lisa asking about the house selling. I haven't had breakfast yet. See if I can get through these 9 before more pop in. And if I can pull it off, then great. Hold on tight. Yes. Yes, sort of yes, but it seems that you got to go through some bad bargaining, Lisa, before the house actually sells out completely. Good luck. Yippee, you already asked a question. Come on. Why ask multiple questions, guys? Why ask multiple questions for free, guys? Like, the other side of it is, too, my private bookings are $80 an hour. So I get that it's nice to get a question in, but if you start asking multiple times, at some point I might get a little bit liberal with governing access. Just because. Senorita, yes, you may ask a question. Questions are great. Try to keep the question about yourself and your life experiences. Avoid asking questions about other people and what they're doing. And remember that it's about not giving you an absolute answer, because that would be a violation of your free will and an invasion of your personal space. It's about giving you guidance. Jennifer, Gen333, will there be a big change in my life this year? See, I like that kind of question. It's looking for point of reference. It's looking for perspective. I like that kind of question. It's Tuesday. I get to be preachy on Tuesday. Don't forget that. It's my teaching day, and so I will be preachy if I damn well choose. Jennifer, big change this life, this year. Yes. I didn't like the initial cut. I might have snuck something in on that. I just want... Okay. Hi, Jennifer. It's been quite a year, hasn't it? Or should we say quite a lifetime. The primary top card is coming up Ace of Swords. Your sub card is coming up Ace of Cups. We've got a double ace situation. Like having pocket pairs, it makes any person at the table usually really, really happy. But the downside to it is it provides such a powerful opportunity that it can lead to a grievous drop on the downside of it if not handled properly. It's like getting pocket kings. The person next to you has pocket aces, and you thought you had it, you thought it was there, it was supposed to be right, and then it just nosedives on the river into this awful sensation of doom, gloom, and panic. Confirming card that I grabbed, the Two of Pentacles, fluctuation, chaos, and needing to sort of ride out the waves. Whatever's brought you to this point, you've endured it well. Give yourself credit where credit is due. You've endured it well. The emotional strains are natural, having gone through any extreme experiences. People don't talk a lot about the recovery of emotions after them, and that is at some point what you need to start venturing yourself into. The ability to connect with community groups, friends, old and new, as well as deeply with relationship romantic dynamics. All the points of cup access, all emotional sources have to be touched upon. But your thought has to get clear on it first. You will, you can, you absolutely should. But that big step first usually requires seeing some sense of sunshine. And I'm not quite sure where to point at that for you in this particular setup. With the Ace of Swords, you could indicate towards education, museums, trips abroad to destinations where it's more about the architecture and discovery of history versus Cancun, for example. Other times when the Ace of Swords comes up, it means until a particular legal agreement or debacle is actually settled, signed, and let go of, nobody's moving anywhere fast. And it's somewhere between those two things that I keep feeling on it. It shifts this year, absolutely. Probably before the year is out. I want to say September, but I keep wanting to say summer too. Good luck. Bunny. See, it sucks too because I don't scroll down as new messages are coming in. I see here that Bunny was talking about the reading at the time. And therein lies the problem with one card draws and a quick style tarot Thursday. I won't see your responses until I get down to the bottom. There's 5 new messages. It doesn't pop up. That was a advantage maybe on Facebook, but not at the same time. Good morning, Donna. Finding love? Play Avicii, you will find love. I know that may seem somewhat dark, but play Avicii and you will find love. Love or lust? Now, sometimes when I get into this, some people get a little bit irked with me because morals and principles are a really, really important thing, right? So when don't take this to offense if possible. It's not to degrade a person or choice of lifestyle. But you don't need a love, you need a pipe cleaner. You need someone that is instilling the passion and the heat of the moment in a very similar effect to what you would see with a spring fling. And it creates the beautiful desires, the beautiful memories, and the beautiful impressions. And we throw all the fuel that we have on it for that moment. We let it explode into a giant fireball. And then we bow, say thank you, and carry on our way. These types of relationships, I'm not going to say a one-night stand, because a one-night stand is a little bit different. This is an indulgence in lust, an indulgence in passion, and an indulgence in experience. And they are healthy. They are. You just have to recognize it for what it is. If you go into a lust-based experience expecting a marriage ring out of it, nothing good comes out of it, and you end up heartbroken after the fact with a sense to blame the other person. It's not meant to be a long-term love experience. It's meant to be passion and heat in the here and now. I call them pipe cleaners. And once you have one, they're usually really good at spinning you off in a very confident way. And that confidence then attracts better relationships down the road. Good luck, Donna. Now, point in case. I see Luna's question now. Luna asked that, I think, a good on 20 minutes ago. But things get buried really fast. Things get buried really deeply. For that reason, I usually always post any reading ones that I've done. I'll usually always post them up onto my YouTube after the fact. That way, my need to answer every question that is asked is met. And you people that are asking questions aren't going to get ignored. You are going to get your answer at another point, at another show. Might be a YouTube replay, but the access will be there for you and you will have that again. Guaranteed. So Luna, if you're still around, thank you so much for sitting through that 20 minutes. Really, really appreciate that. Luna, if you couldn't make it, I get it. I'm so sorry. Maybe you'll catch this on YouTube. Luna, reconnecting with an ex, spend some time getting signs. Sounds like you might be doing a little bit of that energy reading yourself, which is fantastic. It's always a question of what's going to come out of it when they do reconnect, right? It's always a risk. Thank you so much for the drop of the gifts, by the way. Sorry I was on a rant there when they were coming in. Let's, Luna. This card keeps sticking. Yeah, mixed. I've got a mixed vibe. It might be the ex, or it might be another experience in the very same vein of the ex. Something of the Eight of Cups is usually related towards having to walk away from unbalanced situations, unfair dynamics, or uneven flows, right? And so if it is the ex, and that was where my focus was intended upon, the connection isn't really changed, it's not improved, it's not better. It's not the right flow. And so my initial instinct would be, no, it's not the ex. It's not going to be, it is the ex, but it's not going to be a fair change. That thing's really gotten better and it's not really worth the time to shoot at it again. It's not worth it. The bottom card was the Fool card though. The Fool card's usually new beginnings, new starts, and new energies. And so Luna, be careful. It may be very likely that it's not the X, but an energy very similar to the X. You might want to be careful about stumbling into the exact same pattern as last time. If you've got the little white dog behind you barking away, That's your warning sign. That's your reminder to pull back before walking off the edge of the cliff. Good luck, Luna. Yeah, Donna, I am sure going in order, and that's the problem. So my YouTube is Lopic Magic House. If you put in a request and can't stick around, I am so sorry, but I will definitely have it up on YouTube for you after the fact. Hi, Christina. No worries, Jen. Danielle, will I be vindicated for the lies my ex and family are slandering me? I've already got the instinct, vindication or something else, but let's... No, I'm trying not to be mean. Just be mean? Okay. No. No, because like vindication... I might even look up dictionary definition on it this time, but the sensation of vindication isn't... It's the entire crowd coming around to say, no, you're wrong here, they're right there, and you guys gotta fucking understand that they were right, you were wrong. You being the one that was right if you are the one being vindicated. A Queen of Swords, the truth will be spoken. The truth will be spoken. Situation of Four of Cups, not accepted, not flowing, not of the right nature. Combination doesn't speak necessarily to a vindication. It speaks to an airing of reality. And because of that reality, people realize that maybe the things aren't as cut and dry as they out to be. And so there is some things that you have to own up to in this situation as well too. They don't lessen the people's wrongness for what they've done to you, but tit for tat, eye for eye, there comes a point where you can't just deal with the question of who was the bad one first, but you have to get down to a question of how do we help these people to be better in their own way first, and then worry about hashing out the past after the fact. Nigel. Christina, I know you're talking about your husband though. Like, message me. Let's talk. Let's do a private booking. You and me. 20 minutes, 30 minutes. We'll do something short and sweet. But like, trying to get it fitted in on this and trying to get it out of one card. I know the direction that it's going to push. You don't like the direction that I've already indicated. And so trying to look at it from other angles isn't healthy. Message me. Mercy, will I get a new job? What do you want to be in? Like, the issue is finding a place where you can be emotionally satisfied, emotionally comfortable, emotionally sufficient. So yes, you will probably get a new job. Why? Because if you're asking this question, it's usually because you don't like where you're at right now, and that's fair. Sometimes we get into places that just don't fit for us. Bottom energy, though, is pointing us towards the Page of Pentacles. Oop. Page of Pentacles. And if Page of Pentacles is showing up there, then my one big thing to kind of consider here is that maybe a new job is a necessity for the personal happiness, and the new job should be something that allows you, like trades, industry, long-term skill set that's not just schooling, but hands-on learned, hands-on experienced. Sometimes you see that in some of the constructions as well too, but trades is usually the first one that comes to mind when that card flows up. Hi, Tanya West. It's the hair. It's just the hair. It's a trick. 13 messages. You were still around. Good. Gutwise lifestyle. Hi, Gutwise. We can do you. I like that statement the best, by the way. Gutwise probably put it, not saying nobody else has put it this way, but Gutwise has put it definitely my favorite way. Can I have a card? I'll get into the details and the depths of any card as best as I can, but sometimes people have to direct it too, and I get that, But trust a card to just show you what you need to know. Ace of Cups is what your top card was, gut-wise. And the Page of Swords is what we've got showing up on the bottom. Now, the Page of Swords is making a subconscious environment that's trying to figure out how to proceed, how to move, how to be in its best flow of communication and expression. But the sword's so dang big that sometimes it's really hard to move and operate properly. Big ideas, big goals, big dreams, there's lots going on, and it becomes a moment of feeling like we've got too much to handle. Top end is the Ace of Cups. Gotta love that one. In the feels and in the flow and in the majesty of what is heart-filled. Now, the heart is a cup. The cup can be poured into, the cup can be poured out of. And maintaining a consistent cycle of flow in and out is the trick of general emotional happiness. When we have that consistency, then we have supportive systems, we have places we can invest ourselves, and we're both prospering and growing in our own communities as well as in our own personal self as well. It enhances that relationship between conscious self and subconscious self because both are feeling satisfied in general because the emotions are being met. When what gets into the cup is insufficient, poisoned, toxic, that's when we start running into hiccups. Those hiccups then begin to cause other effects and other disasters, and it just sort of turns into this weird spiral of feeling like things are falling out of control. And we think sometimes it's our thoughts working against us, but it's not a thought, it's an emotion. You can eliminate emotions and make them thoughts. That's taking your emotions and making them logical. But I don't advise that. It's one of the more painful experiences in life. Please don't kill your emotions. Instead, look at the emotions and yes, analyze them. But analyze them based not on the merit of logic. Analyze them based on the merit of quality, and specifically the quality of happiness to you. If it's poor quality, it's poor quality. Everybody knows what a dirty oil fryer looks like, and everybody knows what a clean one looks like. Everybody knows what a dirty car looks like, and everybody knows what new off the lot looks like. You got to make sure that you are always letting yourself have that brand new, off the lot kind of feeling, kind of vibe, kind of look. Healthiest emotions first and foremost. Good luck, guys. Melissa, does my Father in heaven have a message for me? I don't do mediumship. I can't replicate the energy pattern on it. And so, Melissa, I am so sorry. If you're looking for mediumship, I cannot do that. No worries, Luna, anytime. Sherelle asking about her husband. Will he regret, though? Will he regret? And remember, that's what we were talking about a little bit earlier. Directing the energy so it's about another person, about an outside energy, about an outside form. The question is more about how it keeps sticking out, so I'm just going to pull it out. Thank you, cards. I like you, Jack. You're becoming new friends. I like you. There's readers on here that know exactly what just happened, and I love it. I live for that. That's what I am here for. Don't fall into the devils. Don't fall into the traps. You cannot control other people. You cannot control their impressions. You cannot control their perspective. You cannot control other people. And so, will he regret? My honest, automatic answer is almost always no. No. Why would he regret? That regret might last a minute, and then he won't care because he'll have something else or be doing something else. And that's not the point of tarot cards. To get a sense of how somebody's going to suffer now. But a dynamic on the situation, we could absolutely consider what's going on there. There's got to be an understanding that it's about looking at the situation. It's not about having power over the situation. It's simply about looking at the situation. No, he's not going to have regrets. He's not going to have regrets. Why would a narcissist regret? The only thing they regret is they lost control of the plaything. Why does an abuser regret? Well, that punching bag's gone soft. Now I got to go find a new one. Why does a graper regret? Oh, fuck, I got to go hunt a new prey. Deep down, they secretly are excited for those moments, guys. They love it. They get to go on and find somebody else that can suffer, and the broken toy gets left behind. No, he's having fun with the fates. He's having fun with it. He's taking his chances with it. If he can find better, he will. And better in his perspective is easily found. That doesn't mean that they are better. It just means that they're new, fresh, and a new victim. And that's delightful. That's delightful for you because you're not the victim anymore. Unless you take him back when he comes crawling back around, because next victim wasn't as soft as he thought it was. They pushed back. Instead of going and looking for another prey, they come back to the one that they think's already broken. Don't play his games. Just keep moving on. Advisor Kim. Why would you do that, Advisor Kim? Amanita asking for a card. Absolutely, we can get you a card. It's 9:15. Friend gets up at 10. I still haven't had breakfast. I like this deck. Amanita. Please and thank you. Amanita. Transformation is a neat thing. The environment on this is transformation, metamorphosis, and morphing into or evolving into the next thing. The next thing sometimes is hard to see. The Seven of Cups. The Seven of Cups is a nasty card, period, no matter where you want to apply it. And in transformation process, it usually comes down to one of two things. One, what we're looking at, we see it and we don't want to believe that it's transforming. We don't want to believe it's changing. We're clinging really tightly to what was so that we can have something of a stability with it. But what was is over. What was is done. Every single day we have to die and become somebody new the next day. Every single night, when you go through that sleep process, recycle and become the next evolution of yourself. And allow yourself that movement forward. If you try too hard to hold to what was previous or what was last, it becomes a bit of an abyss or black hole. And I worry that sometimes chasing after ideas such as the inner child can lead to that kind of black hole, because we want to hold on to something from that viewpoint, but that something is past. And you have to allow it to stay in the past if possible. The other case that I've sometimes seen it come up in is in relation to delusion or deception or confusion, particularly around identity or sense of self. Identity is a complex bullshit thing. And I call it bullshit because at the core of it, there are some tendencies that we all fall back to. I identify them for my own self and people that I teach as warrior, priest, bard, and scholar. And these are just the basic passions that seem to drive most people. Warrior being exercising force and growth, priest being worship and following of the divine, bard being, you all are awesome and we need to entertain the crowd because the crowd is the best, and then the scholar saying, you guys are all idiots, I'm just going to write this all down into a book so the next person can figure out better than I did. When you know where in this you fit, focus there. A lot of the other flags, identities, focus groups, right-wing, left-wing activist groups, organizations of all stripes and colors, a lot of these create a flag centered around an identity. But the identity is very, for the moment, the here and now, this instance. And things that are here for this instance don't have the longevity to be universal truths. The idea that money will last forever for all space and time is illogical, because money is a generally fresh concept. Gold coins and coinage sure has been around for a while and trade of that sort, but capitalism and the imaginary money that it creates, that's brand new. That's brand spanking new. Wealth assets and the economics of accounting. That's really brand new. It doesn't last because it's not a tangible physical object like a gold coin or 2 goats and 3 cows, something that has real intrinsic value. Don't fall into pathways that don't have substance if possible. Jasmine, am I currently pregnant? I don't like reading pregnant women. I can do it. I just don't like doing it. Always get a headache out of it. The Emperor is on the bottom. The top came up as 6 of Pentacles. I'm trying to decide, is this you're wanting to avoid a pregnancy or panicking about a pregnancy, just something about it that doesn't feel quite right? My short answer is going to be no, but if you end up doing a test in 6 weeks and finding out that you are, message me, let me know. Let me know. So Angel, does Mark have feelings for me? This is in the white side of the gray zone of question asking that I was mentioning earlier. Why? Because she is asking about Mark being another person and his energy, but it's directed towards her. Because it's directed towards her, I got no issues answering it, because if it was an energy that was a little bit more dangerous, I'd love to have that conversation with somebody. Had that conversation with somebody before. I don't know if I'd say feelings. King of Swords is usually not necessarily feelings, and the bottom environment is coming up with the 5 of Wands. 5 of Wands is usually related towards a spirit of competitiveness, team-like spirit, though. Team-like competitiveness. Same group, same association, same squad. And so I would take the King of Swords then to be that he sees some manner of working alongside with you or partnering with you, maybe not for romantic intentions, maybe for other elements, whether that be work, leisure, exercise, but routine, and definitely invigorating for him in some manner if it's coming up King of Swords. So not necessarily feelings in the sense of emotions and cups like we would consider, but maybe more in the dynamic of interest in developing a better understanding, rapport, or communication lines with you. Have fun, Angel. Thanks, Hank. I'm glad you love this. I try my best. Hello, Cassie. Welcome to the show. Divine Views, I am Supreet Kaur. How will my future be? Right now, I'm very stressed. Let's take a look-see. Supreet. Yeah, we're not putting Temperance on the bottom. Devil on the bottom's worse, but whatever. Okay, so bottom of the deck ended up being the Devil. Top of the deck ended up being the Moon. I dodged around a Temperance card on the bottom because Temperance card, it's lousy. It's lousy advice when people are stressed out, because it's basically saying you have to endure this moment if you want to actually get to the better things on the other side. And that's not helpful. That's not friendly advice. That's not a good environment to put somebody into. So I tried looking elsewhere there, Supreet, and unfortunately, we end up with something almost a little bit darker. The Devil is anything that takes control over us and guides us through life. And a lot of people like to focus on addictions. I prefer to focus on ideology, concepts that imprison you in rigid worldviews and prevent you from having the opportunity to explore anything else. Christian rock music is an interesting example of the Devil card, because it's evangelical gospel worship music, but it masquerades as rock music and says that it will allow you to have this exciting expression. And it does, but if it weren't pretending to be something else, rock music, I think I would have a better appetite for it, right? It wouldn't feel as controlling. The Moon card for me is very much towards the subconscious and sometimes the darker side of things. And so the combination starts to become this idea of you wrestling against yourself to find the better truths of who you want to be in the world moving forward. Going to face the dark side, going to face the shadow. Dark night of the soul is a term I keep seeing thrown around right now. You have to go through it. You have to push through it. You have to break the chains that are bonding you first so that you can go through it. And then you have to explore it deeply without judgment and without fear. The illusion of the self is that what we present is just the shadow of our true nature, true consciousness, true source, whatever you want to call it. And so what you're getting in the world around you, it's what is remaining when you block your own self in a weird sort of way. Stop restraining yourself to things that aren't with you, and find a means to get to understanding what the subconscious you is most craving for. Get into that conversation with yourself. Good luck. Amnita, glad you love it. Glad it's on point. Have an excellent one. Tanny West wants to be read, so we can definitely throw one down there. Tanny West coming up with the 3 of Cups on the top side, Strength card on the bottom, Strength card environment being your true self, and an environment around friends, celebration, and rejoicement. It can be a warning to avoid excess with that combination. The girls are in for revelry. They're in to enjoy the fact that they are successful, wonderful individuals. The problem is sometimes that cup can get a little bit full and a little bit too much, and so making sure that it's not only about celebration and excess, it's not all about just dancing and enjoying the moment. Sometimes we do have to remember personal moderation and balance as well too, but that it all comes back to true character with the Strength card. So if your true character is absolutely revelry, excitement, and running in chaos, so be it. Have fun, enjoy yourself, do your thing, but don't deny the nature of self in your achievement of that celebration. Push through for your personal happies, and as long as that is done in a way that's not impeding on other people's space, free will, and consent, then go nuts, have fun, do you. 3 of Cups usually also creates crowd with it, and so running with the team allows for that added element of safety. And if you are with people that you're being genuine with, that usually creates a healthier lifestyle all around as well. So make sure that you are able to be that genuine self in the company that you keep. If not, then it's not your company, because you can't be your own true self with them. Rebecca, will me and my best friend work things out and be stronger together? Although this combination's coming back around again. I want to say yes, Rebecca, but my gut tells me that I shouldn't, and that's well, it could also be hunger pains, but it's just caution, right? Because the 10 of Pentacles is all about society, large groups, and collective. I don't think you guys are going to be quite able to figure it out on your own terms, but needing like a third-party mediator or even more of a larger social setting in order to help make things work better. And it's not saying that you guys need to go on trial with your friendship group. Maybe not go on trial with your friendship group, but having others around so that there can be more witnesses and more vocal observers. Because sometimes things going on here may not necessarily be what we would call healthy dynamics, and having somebody else that actually speaks out to it does a really good way of helping to alleviate the pain and alleviate the pressure. Change is sort of in the air on this one though, and so I'm not convinced rebuilding it is something that you guys can figure out on a solo way. Good luck. Hi Jay, I do free readings. My first take on it is if I've got the deck out and I'm doing it, then absolutely ask for a card, I'll dig into it. Otherwise, Thursdays, every Thursday, I will do live free show and make sure everybody gets at least one card. I do private readings as well too, if necessary. Thanks, New Ray. Always try to be the happy. If not the happy, then at least the stable and put together, or at least the appearance of it wherever possible. I like to say I learned by pissing on all the electric fences I could find, and it was a good experience, taught me a lot, but Doesn't necessarily leave a person... when a person becomes balanced by going out and traumatizing themselves, they're not necessarily walking in Buddha's footsteps towards nirvana. And even he said at one point that the ascetic virtues are bullshit and not worth it. But thank you. But thank you. Good day, Mama Bear. Liz, card please. Okay. Card for Liz. You just had that card. It says go out and have fun. It says go out and have fun. We got three of cups on the bottom. We've got 10 of cups coming up on top. Liz, that would be, to me, say go out for a party and have fun. But I literally just had both those cards come up. So can we get something fresh here? Changes in the air, Liz, and being able to move yourself forward through the change is what's sort of the name of the game. King of Wands on the bottom gives indication that it needs to be sort of your direction, your path, your goals. And if you're not allowing yourself to push into this moment, or if there's others that are saying that you shouldn't push into this moment, they need to go touch grass. You need to take control right now and move yourself from one evolution into the next and embrace the new life and the new possibilities that are available to you. Now's not the time to sit back, hold back, and refrain from greater chance. Take the chance, take the thing, do the thing, get out there and enjoy the moment of life. Better things come through it as a result of being in that passion. Have fun with that one, Les. Olga, the Eight of Cups is about unbalanced, unfair situations. 5 against 3. If you got 8 cups, you can divide it 4 and 4. Why not? But sometimes there's a reason why it's unbalanced. If your partner has had a hip replacement, the odds of them doing the stairs of Machu Picchu are very, very slim. Or if somebody else has had a gallbladder surgery, there's a good chance they'll pee themselves if they're out in public for too long. And it's just little things that you got to consider every now and again. If you can tolerate the balance, that's one thing. If the balance is that your boyfriend needs you to give him head every night for him to go to sleep, I'm not sure I'd necessarily tolerate that unless you've got an oral fixation, right? There's got to be a balance there. Mama Bear, feel so inclined. I'd like a card, no question, just general. Love it when it's phrased like that. And of course, if you ask, I will provide 100% of the time. If you can't stick around for the card, it'll always be on YouTube after the fact. And I like questions too, but I prefer it when it's nice and general like this. Mama Angel. I keep saying Mama Bear. Mama Angel.